now who is a tenant? That is important to understand the entire concept of rent control legislation. Now, tenant is a person who is a tenant, deemed tenant, or a subtenant. Now, who is a subtenant? Subtenants means the tenant again lets out the premises or gives it on the lease. Such subtenant will be also treated as a tenant for the definition of a tenant. Now, when the subtenant is a tenant, when the original tenant was allowed by the landlord to induct or to give the premises on sublease, then that subtenant will be the tenant. And under the old act also, when the premises were given under the license, and those licensee were there on 1st of February 1973, those all licensees became the tenant. The tenant takes the premises and he gives on the license, that licensee became the tenant. So such category of the persons is also a tenant. So this is also reiterated in the Act of 2000 when he is in the possession or occupation of the premises and original tenant's rights are terminated, then the subtenant or a licensee becomes the tenant. So this is a criteria who is tenant. Now I had opened the topic that who becomes the tenant after the death of original tenant. Now there are two conditions which are important for the heirs to become the tenant. Condition number one is that it must be a residential premises and those person or a persons, maybe a 3 sons and a daughter, only 2 sons are residing in the premises. Those are residing in the premises and paying the rent regularly, they will become the tenant. And in cases where the premises are let out for say business or for educational institute, trade or storage, then those persons who at the time of a death of an original tenant were using the premises for the purpose for which they were let out, then in those circumstances he will become the tenant. So this is how the tenancy's definition is there under the enactment or a new act also. So there is not much a difference. And if there is a dispute as to who is the heir, then in that case it is a court to decide who is the heir. So then in that case the court will decide among the heirs which are there who is the heir of the original tenant. Now these are the very important provisions because in a cities like Bombay or even now in cities like Pune, the tenanted premises or the rights of a tenant have got a value. Now to leave the premises or to vacate the premises, the tenants are being paid a very lump sum and good amount. In Mumbai, you can call it as a crores of rupees. Or in the alternative, if there is a redevelopment, which we will come under section 16 of this act, then in that case, new premises are given or a new flat is given that is valued in some areas of a crores of rupees. So except the rent, he doesn't have to pay anything. Maybe some additional standard rent may be fixed, but still it is a matter of a great income for the old tenants in the metro cities or main cities. So it is very important to know who becomes or who gets the rights of a tenant after the death of the original tenant. So there are conditions is that those who are residing with the tenant at the time of a death of a tenant and those who are occupying the premises. Now here, there may be a first tenant has died, the rent is being paid, receipts are being issued in the name of the first tenant only, who had died 20, 30 years before. And the second who has been using the premises after his death has also died. Then in that case, the rule will be applicable in both situations. Who was residing at the time of first tenant, original tenant, and subsequently who was residing or who is residing at the time of second sons or second generation, that who they will become the tenant. Now this issue under the Rent Act, now I will be turning to the standard rent. Now this issue of a standard rent is of not that important nowadays for a simple reason, because the dispute as to the rent was normally raised when there was a default in payment of rent and the landlord filed a suit or gave a notice as of default of the rent and sought the possession of the premises. Nowadays it is not important because that default in payment of rent ground is totally diluted. So we will not go much into the standard rent, but the only understand the concept that standard rent is a rent which the premises would fetch or should fetch considering the construction quality or considering the rent prevailing in the surrounding area in the locality of the premises which were rented or tenanted at about the same time of a tenant. म्हणजे ज्या वेळेला याला भाड्याने दिलं तेव्हा काय भाडं होतं आणि त्या भाडेकरू आजूबाजूचे सगळे जर विचारात घेतले तर याचं भाडं 500 असेल 3 रूमला आणि आजूबाजूच्या प्रिमायसेस मध्येही 500 असेल तर दॅट इज अ स्टँडर्ड रेंट. दुसरी मेथड आहे की बाबा या बिल्डिंगला खर्च आलेला आहे 10 लाख रुपये, तर त्याच्यावर त्या मालकाला खर्च मेंटेनन्स वजा जाऊन रिटर्न किती मिळावे इन्व्हेस्टमेंटवर ते साधारणपणे 15, 20, 30% पर्यंत मिळावेत, त्याचं कॅल्क्युलेशन करून जो अमाउंट येईल दॅट विल बी दी स्टँडर्ड रेंट. सो दॅट इज अनदर इश्यू. नाउ डिफॉल्ट बद्दल मी बोललो होतो. डिफॉल्ट हे ग्राउंड काढून टाकले बिकॉज टुडे आय थिंक दॅट विल बी द ओनली टाइम परमिसिबल टू अस. डिफॉल्ट हे ग्राउंड पूर्वी असं होतं की जर समजा डिफॉल्ट झाला टेनंटनी 6 महिन्यापेक्षा जास्त तर 1 महिन्याची नोटीस द्यायची. त्या नोटीस मध्ये जर टेनंटनी भाडं दिलं नाही, पाठवलं नाही तर दावा दाखल करायचा आणि त्या ग्राउंडवर पोझिशन मिळायचं. आता हे ग्राउंड असं राहिलेलं नाही. नवीन एनॅक्ट मध्ये काय केलंय की डिफॉल्ट जर असेल तर तुम्ही 90 दिवसाची नोटीस द्यायची लँडलॉर्डनी आणि 90 दिवसाच्या नोटिसीमध्ये जर भाडेकरूनी भाडं दिलं आणि 15% व्याज दिलं तर तुमचं डिफॉल्ट या ग्राउंडवर ताबा मिळण्याचं ग्राउंड काही राहत नाही. म्हणजे थोडक्यात डिफॉल्ट हे ग्राउंड टोटली डायल्यूट करून टाकलेला आहे. डिफॉल्ट झाला तरी देखील तुम्ही भाडं द्यायचं आणि व्याज द्यायचं अशी ती प्रोव्हिजन आता राहिलेली आहे, केलेली आहे. त्यामुळे ते ग्राउंड गेलेलं आहे. आता सेक्शन 16 जो आहे त्याच्यामध्ये आपल्याला वेगवेगळी ग्राउंड आहेत की ज्या ग्राउंडवरच टेनंट कडून ताबा घेता येतो. ती A to M, N, A to N अशी ग्राउंड आहेत. ह्या A to N ही जेवढी ग्राउंड आहेत त्यापैकी कुठलंही ग्राउंड जर घर मालकाने सिद्ध केलं तर त्याला ताबा मिळेल, अदरवाईज टेनंट कडून ताबा मिळणार नाही. आता ही A to N जी ग्राउंड आहे ती पूर्वीच्या एनॅक्ट मध्ये सेक्शन 13 मध्ये होती, आता सेक्शन 16 आहे. 16 मधली जी ग्राउंड आहे ती संपूर्ण ग्राउंड जवळपास सारखीच आहे, त्याचा केस लॉ पण तसाच डेव्हलप झालेला आहे. आपण जेवढी ग्राउंड आज पाहता येईल तेवढी पाहूया. आणि त्याच्यामध्ये मी रॅन्डमली एका दुसरे ग्राउंड वर खाली घेईन. पहिलं ग्राउंड आहे की भाडेकरूंनी कायमस्वरूपी बांधकाम केलेलं आहे. म्हणजे त्याला मी 3 रूमचं ब्लॉक भाड्याने दिला, त्यांनी त्या ब्लॉक मध्ये हॉल मध्ये एक भिंत बांधली आणि एक बेडरूम क्रिएट केलं, किंवा त्यांनी पॅसेज होता तो काढून त्या पॅसेज मर्ज केला हॉल मध्ये आणि त्यांनी तिथे एक बांधकाम करून ओटा तयार केला आणि एक प्लॅटफॉर्म तयार केला. तर अशा प्रकारे कायमस्वरूपी बांधकाम जर केलं मालकांनी, आपलं भाडेकरूंनी, तर ताबा मिळण्याचा अधिकार मालकाला राहील. पण याला एक्सेप्शन आहे. एक जर म्युनिसिपल अथॉरिटीनी परवानगी दिली असेल, दुसरं वुडन पार्टिशन असेल, किचन ओटा असेल, किंवा एखाद्या ठिकाणी व्हेंटिलेशन साठी खिडकी काढलेली आहे, कारण वारच येत नाही जुन्या फ्लॅटमध्ये किंवा अंधार असतो, तिथे खिडकी काढली, तर या प्रकारच्या बांधकामाला कायमस्वरूपी बांधकाम या कायद्याप्रमाणे म्हणता येणार नाही आणि त्यामुळे भाडेकरूकडून ताबा मागता येणार नाही. सो दिस इज, म्हणजे समजा मी फरशी घातली, कारण पूर्वी या ग्राउंडवर बरीच लिटिगेशन झालेली आहेत. म्हणजे या पूर्वीच्या कायद्यात तर हा एक महत्वाचा मुद्दा होता की भाडेकरूंनी कायमस्वरूपी बांधकाम केलेलं आहे म्हणून मला ताबा मिळावा. मग ते बांधकाम म्हणजे काय, किचन ओटा पाडून त्यांनी ग्रॅनाइट बसवले, ग्रॅनाइटचा ओटा केला. पूर्वीच्या घरांना काही काही जुन्या तर ग्रॅनाइटचा ओटा बसवला, दॅट इज ग्राउंड. किंवा माग जायला एक दार केलं नवीन तयार, ते ग्राउंड. किंवा पाण्याची टाकी बसवायला आत एक त्यांनी लॉफ्ट केला, ते ग्राउंड. या प्रकारची वेगवेगळी ग्राउंड घर मालक काढून किंवा या ग्राउंडवर ताबा मिळवायचे. तर आता ती परिस्थिती राहिलेली नाहीये, कमी झालेली आहे. नाउ यू कॅन टेक claim the possession, landlord can claim the possession only when it is a construction of a permanent nature. हाही शब्द महत्वाचा आहे. What is permanent construction? This will have to be seen. Otherwise, construction may appear to be permanent, but if it is in fact a temporary construction, like a partition of some 2 rooms is made by a wooden partition, that will not be treated as a permanent construction. Similarly, as I have told you, constructing the kitchen platform or opening a window for ventilation will not be treated as a construction or a permanent construction. So this is what the ground of eviction in which is available to the landlord. Now, second ground of eviction which is available is nuisance and annoyance. And nuisance and annoyance is a ground which is more like a ground but difficult to be proved. Now you will understand nuisance and annoyance, these are also available under the criminal law. Nuisance is a criminal offense. Now degree of nuisance and the way in which the nuisance is caused are important. So unless these both are proved, or the tenant who drinks every night and creates a quarrel or a show in the premises whereby the occupants in the building or other tenants are losing their peaceful life and they cannot live peacefully, in the midnight he starts shouting, or there is always a quarrel or some kind of act which amounts to annoyance, or throws the water, or his tank or his balcony water is always overflow, is there, and that thereby the persons living downstairs are suffering from this overflow of the water, then in that case, it will not be annoyance. So nuisance and annoyance are very difficult to be proved, but you need to have conviction or criminal prosecution, complaints of the neighboring tenants. This all will be required to establish this ground by the landlord in his favor. So this is the second ground of eviction under the Maharashtra Rent Control Act, on which you can seek an eviction of a tenant from the tenanted premises. So we have seen today the two grounds only. One is of a permanent construction and another is of a nuisance or annoyance. Now I have not gone into the definitions of nuisance and annoyance because I suppose and I understand that you know these definitions from the Indian Penal Code also. What is nuisance? So these definitions are readily available, which are directly to be imported and read here in Rent Act legislation also. And if such annoyances or nuisances is proved, then only you are entitled to seek the possession of the premises. So this is how the Rent Act legislation is there, where the approach of the courts and